Welcome everyone to It's Messy, but It's So Good. And today I'm so excited to speak to Terry Tateossian, who is a amazing coach, wellness extraordinaire, focusing on self-care and resilience, wellness, helping women in so many different areas, doing retreats and so forth. So I want to welcome you, Terry.
Thank you, Fran, for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And I feel like this is just going to be a deep dive today into, your amazing transformation. I know that you have lost over 80 pounds in midlife, and also you specialize in helping women with perimenopause and menopause. So I would love to hear your transformation story, how you went from feeling uninspired, perhaps with your life, maybe not at the weight you wanted to be, and how you transformed into where you are today. I would love to hear that.
Yeah, so I love to start with the fact that there's basically nothing unique about my story and where I found myself and how I got there. Because the more of this work that I do, the more I realize that the majority of us are in that disconnected space, especially once midlife and perimenopause and those wonderful things start knocking on our door. And
Mm,
so that's where I found myself at 37. And just for reference sake, for everybody listening, I am 5'3" and I weighed in at 210 pounds at 37. I was still wearing maternity clothes because I had just had my son at 35 and I had my daughter at 30. And I was never overweight or obese prior to that. In fact, I
mm,
was underweight the majority of my life. And yeah, and so simultaneously in my late 20s, I had started my entrepreneur journey. And all of those things combined together left me with no time to take care of anything that concerned my physical, emotional, or mental health. And so one day I was having a pint of ice cream for
mhm,
dessert. That was my nightly ritual along with alcohol. And I started having extreme chest pains, and I thought I was having a heart attack since heart disease runs in my family. And so I rushed to the ER. They held me there overnight. I was given a Xanax and told to go home that I had a panic attack.
mm,
And so that didn't really wake me up or send a message to me that, hey, maybe you need to reassess some of your lifestyle choices. And so I kept going. I had a business. It was growing. It was busy. I was traveling a lot. I had two kids. So yeah, I just kept going. And then it happened again, right? It happened
mm,
again. And again, I was like, they made a mistake. This can't be. This is a heart attack. I'm having issues. I run to ER. Same thing happened. They gave me a Xanax. They told me to go home, follow up with a cardiologist. And yeah, by the way, you might want to think about losing some weight. And
mm,
so I was very embarrassed. Ashamed. I didn't want to tell anybody that this was happening, that this happened. I was hiding it from employees, coworkers, clients, every family, everybody. And I decided that, okay, this time I'm going to take this more seriously and I'm going to get on this journey to try and figure out how the heck am I going to get myself back in order? Because I was out of order.
yeah.
And unbeknownst to me, at 37, I had entered perimenopause,
Mm,
which was a very interesting timing that all these things started happening because by 42, I was fully menopausal. I'm going to be 50
wow.
this year. Yeah. So it's
Wow.
been 8 years. Mhm.
Mm. So that contributed a lot to all your symptoms of, starting a diet, not, not being successful with the weight loss, the emotional ups and downs and so forth. Yeah.
Yeah, no, perimenopause, literally, it was like the Fast and the Furious train tracks just ran. I was just completely not myself. It was very interesting because I had no clue. I was not
Mm,
expecting it at that age. Um, Doctors didn't even mention that. I mean, this is 13 years ago, so we didn't know as much about HRT back then, or even perimenopause wasn't really as widely, the information wasn't as widely discussed as it is now. And
right.
so nobody even thought of it because of my age.
Exactly. Now, did your mom go into early menopause or perimenopause, or you weren't sure?
I wasn't sure. I
Mhm.
wasn't sure. And from all the people that I've spoken to since then, I was told that early onset perimenopause is sometimes stress related, lifestyle related.
Hmm.
It could happen. It could also be genetic, but yeah, I wasn't sure.
Okay. Yeah, I could really relate to that. Although my full menopause was at 53, but also had early perimenopause. And I suffered so much with not so much moodiness, but hot flashes. And I couldn't sleep. Of course, when you can't sleep, it affects every part of your life. And I ended up taking back in the day, because I'm now 72, bioidentical hormones, which was a lifesaver for me. I mean, within 9 days, like I totally transformed from being able to sleep and so forth. So,
That's amazing.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I guess I was ahead of the game back then.
Mhm.
Luckily,
Yeah.
I met the right person at the right time, So,
It's funny how those things happen.
yes, yes, exactly. And we have to be open to it, or ready for it too, I would say.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Desperation could cause that.
Yeah, and you have to take action, right? You can't just sit there and accept what's
Hmm.
happening. And we're told this repeatedly. I hear it from clients, I hear it from women that I talk to, that when they go to visit their physician, they're just told, well, this is what happens now, deal with it. It's age, this is what happens at this age. When in fact, there's so many options out there and so many actions we can take to circumvent or to manage these symptoms where they not only disappear, but you actually feel better, almost like reverse age.
Hmm. Yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah. So, can you share a little bit more about your metamorphosis? You found, I guess, the right treatment plan and the right providers, and then you also, from what I've read about your experience, you kind of reframed and rebooted your whole self into more of a self-care and holistic um, mindset and so forth. So what happened next?
Rebooted is a great word. Mhm. Yeah. So I didn't address perimenopause. I had no clue. The thing that I was focused on was the weight loss aspect. And so I started the whole journey on my own.
Mm,
And so I'm a type A, right? So entrepreneur minded, take action, go all in, do all these things, right? And I did that. I took it seriously. I was dialed in, okay, with every possible diet you can imagine. Dialed in with all the diets.
yes.
And none of them worked. They worked, let's say for 3 months, I would drop weight and then it would come back with a vengeance. And then I would start from square one. And then I would just keep repeating the cycle. And eventually, I looked at myself. I was like, You're a fairly intelligent person. You've kind of like, gotten ahead in a lot of different areas in your life. What are you doing? Like, that doesn't make any sense. What, like, you keep repeating the same thing over and over and over again, and you're not getting anywhere. So snap out of it, right? And ask for help, which is one of the hardest things to do. And so I
Absolutely.
did. I asked for help. I actually found a coach that specialized in women's weight loss and body transformation. And I started working with her. I worked with her for about 10 years, actually. And she taught me about macronutrition, resistance training,
Hmm.
and how to manage my lifestyle so that these things that took care of me could fit into my days.
Hmm.
And yeah, so that's what actually got me out of my uh, big trouble that I was in because for whatever reason, resistance training worked really well for all of my perimenopause symptoms.
Wow.
Eating enough protein worked magically on my body and my satiety. So I wasn't eating pints of ice cream and Nutella every night. And getting rid of alcohol was another really important part of starting to feel better, especially during perimenopause. And I have so many funny stories because I started lifting weights,
Hmm.
like heavy weights. I actually discovered, I didn't know this my whole life. Okay, Fran. I discovered that I was really strong, which blew
Mm.
my mind. And I fell in love with the whole process of weightlifting, powerlifting,
Mm.
and bodybuilding. And it's funny because I have this funny story. I was laying in bed one night and I was having a hot flash now that I look back at it. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is amazing. My body is making muscles and burning fat. And this is what this is. I thought that's what the hot flash was because I was clueless. So ignorance is bliss, they say. And so that was kind of the path that I how I discovered this lifestyle. And over the years, I fell in love with it. It was really the furthest things from my mind growing up as far as what I would be doing for a living. But I did a
Mm.
full 180. So the majority of my life, I went to school for computer science, computer engineering, things like that, software development, and that's what I did. I started a digital agency, and that's what I was running when all these things happened. And then I did a full 180 flip,
Mm.
and I changed everything. I studied health and wellness, nutrition, personal training, hormones, yoga, things like that. And I did a full 180 flip.
Hmm. And then created a business from that, from your experience and your transformation.
And I can't take credit for it. So up to that point, everything I did it by will. So every
Mm.
business that I had, I think I had over 8 different businesses by the time I was 40.
Hmm.
And every business that I built was through will, full, like putting all of my effort and my energy into building it. I can't say that about this one. It
Hmm.
almost built itself. It almost came to me. I didn't really go out looking for it. I didn't have a business plan and a
Right.
strategic map, roadmap. I didn't have a marketing plan. I had none of that.
Yeah.
And it just kind of organically happened because people started asking me, like, how did you do this? How did you go
Mhm.
from, you know, being this unhealthy and feeling this unwell to looking the way you do and thriving and getting so strong? And, how did you do that? And so it happened completely word of mouth. And that's what got me into, okay, let me get certified so I can actually help people
Yeah.
professionally. Hmm.
Yeah. So to me, the word alignment comes up. You were so aligned, and that's when things really move. We don't have to work so hard because our energy is there and it attracts people to us and it expands us as we go forward. So that's a perfect example of success through alignment. And also, you must have felt in your heart so soul driven because you knew what you had experienced and you wanted to share that with other women. So, it's like
Yeah,
service.
there's nothing exactly. Yes, it's a service-based calling almost in a
Mhm.
sense. Um, because I think the first couple of years that I was going through my certifications, I was doing it for free for people.
Mhm.
I had no thought in my mind of charging. And in fact, I charge pretty minimally for what I do. And so it's not really driven by a need for me. It's not driven by materialistic gain. It's extremely fulfilling when you are aligned with a purpose that gives back to you. So, doing or being in service to someone that you know you can help and you do help is the payment essentially, right? Because it gives you back that energy of, wow, like I changed somebody's mind, somebody's habits, lifestyle. I changed somebody's life. I changed how their family lives, or it just kind of trickles down. It's contagious, right? When somebody starts doing something really beneficial, everybody around them gets infected by that energy.
Definitely.
And so it's a reward on its own. And so, a lot of people ask me like, "Oh, how did you come up with doing this?" I say, "I didn't come up with it. It came
Hmm.
up with me."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know that you have another aspect of your business called THOR. Could you
Mhm.
share a little bit about that? Because I know that you're focused very much on retreats.
Yeah. So the House of Rose, Thor for short, is basically the company that is the business. And so the business does yoga retreats in the Smoky Mountains.
Mm.
This year we added Sedona in the south of France.
Mm.
And they're 5-day retreats for women that are looking to have a fully immersive experience into this lifestyle. So, what does that mean? It means yoga, it means, movement throughout those 5 days, every single day. Restorative yoga, meditations, breath work, really healthy macro protein forward types of meals 3 times a day, hikes out in nature, grounding, sleeping really well, uh, training in the gym, maybe getting some spa treatments, and just
Mm.
kind of bringing down the nervous system
Mhm.
alert, right? Because what I discovered throughout my journey is that no matter what I did, no matter how successful I was with my macros, my training, whatever it might have been, if my nervous system was dysregulated, I could get off the rails at any minute, right? So if my internal and emotional state was not regulated, it was very hard to stay on track. And so for a lot of women, that is the case, and not for everybody, right? It's not a
Right.
universal statement, but for many of us, the reason why we even find ourselves where I was at is because our nervous system is dysregulated and we're having, we're coping with that through addictions, emotional
Right.
eating, and things like that.
So at your retreats, do you also, you're introducing this whole different perception, lifestyle, but do you also teach some tools at the retreat so that they can then integrate that into their daily life as they go forward?
Yeah, so it's not a very direct statement because nervous system regulation, you can't really tell somebody to do it.
Mm-hmm.
They have to feel it, right? So they have to experience what safety feels like and potentially be around someone who is able to regulate themselves so they can co-regulate with them because
Mm-hmm.
it's all about, you know, the energy around you, right?
Yes.
And so some of the tools for nervous system regulations that are kind of inconspicuously incorporated into the retreats are massage, so touch, pressure, um, uh, yoga, right? It's literally for nervous system regulation,
Very much so.
meditation. Meditation. Every morning session starts with a meditation. Breath work is
Mm-hmm.
how we access the nervous system, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Restorative yoga. In fact, I
Mm-hmm.
teach the restorative, I call it yin storative. I teach at the nightly class for yin storative because it's so therapeutic and so beneficial right before sleep to calm the nervous system down. And yeah, those are general, you know, movement, being in nature. We have a hike 3 times in the 5 days that we're there in the woods, in the Smoky Mountains, pure virgin forests, nobody around, just the birds, nature's sunshine, just being disconnected essentially from our phones and
Yeah.
stress and the news and all this stuff. And so, nourishing food, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bringing the nervous system, getting the nervous system to calm down when you're malnourished or when you're not eating right or not eating well or fueling the body with the essential minerals, vitamins and minerals and calories and
Yeah.
protein. It's hard to bring your nervous system back into calm because its job is to send out an alarm,
Yeah.
right? And the way that I explain nervous system to people is think of it as your security alarm, you know, to your house, to your computer, your firewall to your computer. If there's a threat, it's going to fire an alarm. And so when you're not eating well, when you're cutting calories drastically, that's an alarm to the system. So that food is a really big part of it as well. But all of these things are incorporated into the retreats. Connection is another one, right? So
Community, right? I mean,
community, yes. So being able to talk to people about whatever's going on in your internal world and feel safe doing so is another signal to the nervous system that I am safe here. I'm okay. I can calm and relax and really reboot what you said
yeah.
earlier, reboot the nervous system. Um, so yeah, that's how we teach that without really saying that we teach that.
Yeah. Yeah. Through just experience. And then once women attending feel that regulation or they come back to the present moment and feel calm, then they know the difference.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because it's not a cerebral type of knowledge.
Right.
It's a very intuitive, and you have to be able to feel it, truly feel it, and describing it or teaching it with words. In my experience, I mean, I'm sure maybe there's someone that can argue with what I'm saying, but in my personal experience, you can't really truly understand it until you feel it. And that is really the goal of all of the retreats that we do.
Yeah. So I know you mentioned you have a few things coming up. Can you just mention again in case anyone in the audience would be interested in contacting you? And we have all of your contacts in the show notes. So you have 3 retreats coming up, right? You mentioned?
Yeah, so the Smoky Mountains are actually once a month. So we have a retreat in the
Oh,
Smoky Mountains once a month. We're
awesome.
actually adding a second week in the month, so they're going to be two now, possibly three per month. So there's lots of dates to choose from. Last year we were completely sold out with waiting lists, and
Mm,
so we added an additional few dates. And they run from February. We just had one last week, a week before, completely sold out again. They run from February into the middle of November. The weather is beautiful. It's currently it's like 70 degrees there. And so you can find the dates on www.thehouseofrose.com. And then in addition to that, we have a recipe book coming out that's been one of the most highly requested things at the retreats is the recipes for the meals that we serve and the food that we make. So that's
that's
coming
great.
out. Yeah, it's been like 2 years in the making. Embarrassing to say, but it took us that long.
That's okay. You've been busy.
Yeah, no, I want to apologize to everybody that's been asking for it because I keep saying, yeah, 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 it's coming out, it's coming out. But last year we're supposed to come out, but we completed it. It's done. All the recipes are in there and they include calories, macros, how much protein, how much fiber. So you have a full understanding of what the meal is. And yeah, so those are the two things. And then, obviously I do coaching as well. So a lot of women that attend retreats, they want to continue the type of work that was done throughout the retreat on their own as they get home. And so, yeah, I have maybe two spots open.
Okay, wonderful. And what would you say to a woman that's listening that perhaps feels kind of lost and doesn't know where to start and feels like, oh, I've made so many attempts and they haven't been successful, which you have experienced yourself in the past. What would you say to that woman out there that just taking the first step?
Taking the first step, my gosh, I had so many trials and errors. Really, the thing that saved me was being humble enough to ask for help.
Hmm.
And I can't stress enough the benefits of having a coach that has experience, that has helped other women, that has a track record, that
Right.
has case studies that you can see, that maybe has even gone through it themselves. And so that is really the fastest way to avoid all the mistakes that I made for years and to get lost in the woods and then give up, which is essentially what ends up happening. There's too much out there vying for your attention,
Yeah.
right? There's too many distractions. And I hear this all the time. What supplement should I take for this or that? How many minutes should I do cardio? Like
It's
minutia.
confusing. It's confusing.
Yes. Yes. And in essence, it really has nothing to do with supplements. It has really nothing to do with how many minutes of cardio you're doing. It has to do with the consistency of your lifestyle, right? So starting with the food, most important thing, sleep, getting enough sleep, movement, right? And meeting yourself where you're at. Uh, and so, yeah, those are the three places I would start, but it is very confusing. So, um, asking somebody to give you a good plan or to kind of remove the distractions and tell you, no, this is not, we don't need to focus on this right now. Let's focus on XYZ, which
Yeah.
is where you're going to get the most bang for your buck. Different diets, yo-yoing on keto, Atkins, South Beach, fruitarian, carnivore. No,
Right.
stop. That's my advice. Stop dieting.
Yes. Yes. I understand. It's not only confusing, but it just stops you from moving forward because it's a constant stop, go, and then you just kind of give up. So having a coach, having that support is essential. And not only having the coach, but having the community, like you mentioned in your retreat, so you don't feel so isolated and alone in what you're going through. I myself, at one point, many, many, many years ago, had gained a lot of weight. Um, I was up like over 60 pounds. And it took a lot of trials and tribulations for me to find the right path. But, it's not giving up with anything, any addiction that we have. It's the commitment and just keep persevering because eventually when you have the right support system and you have you know, well, yeah, we want to do it, but you create the commitment through the support. And then you see the results little by little by little. That's what helped me tremendously. So,
Hmm.
so I always ask my guests this question, and you've answered it so beautifully throughout, but what do you think has been the greatest gift that you personally have received from your whole journey of menopause, perimenopause, and weight loss?
Oh, wow. The greatest gift I have received from this journey is to be content,
Mm.
very
Oh,
content. I've lost fears of getting older. I don't think about it. Where before at 37, I would think about it and feel horrified because wow, I was like, wow, if this stuff is happening to me now, imagine what's going to happen to me in another 40 years. Like, I couldn't fathom how worse it could get.
yeah,
And so yeah, a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety about that. My image of myself was tied to what the body scale said. So I've lost all those things, and that is a gift to me. And so now that's why my Instagram handle is how good can it get?
hmm,
Because back in the day, I was thinking, how much worse can it get?
yeah,
And I'm sure it could have gone a lot worse um, if I hadn't taken action.
yes, yeah, those panic attacks and then developing chronic illness and so forth. So, well, you're an amazing inspiration. And if anyone out there just wants to contact Terry, just even to inquire into her services or to ask any questions, feel free to contact her. All her contacts are in the show notes. If you want to treat yourself to a retreat in the Smoky Mountains or even in France or anywhere where she's doing her work, but just as an introduction to her, reach out. I know that you'd be happy because this is her life's mission to really help you in any way that you need. So I want to thank you so much, Terry. It's been a pleasure. And I know that this is going to be really inspiring to people. So thank
Thank you, Fran. Thank you so much for the meditation earlier. I loved it.
you.
And thank you for having me as a guest.
Well, it's my pleasure. Take care.
Thank you, you too.